Cahill has been called to chambers. Judge Cahill's got an issue. He called that sidebar, and now he wants to discuss something about this questioning of juror number 23, so they've taken a small break. Kelly Hyman is in Denver, Colorado, watching along with us, and Dan Gillian is in San Diego. Kelly, to you first. This juror to me seems like the perfect defense juror. She says, well, those Floyd protests had nothing, there was nothing good about them at all, but there was some good stuff about the COVID-19 protests around the state capitol here. What's your take on 23?
I couldn't agree with you more, especially when we're talking about the hard drugs, that she said that it was a choice. Some other schools of thought say that when people become addicted to drugs, that it's really not a choice. And so that was really powerful that she said that. And I would absolutely agree. I think the prosecution will challenge her, and if not, strike her and not have her on the juror.
Dan, your thoughts on, it looks like the prosecutor's angling to try to get her to be bounced for cause. I don't see that happening, but they've got 9 strikes. You got to use one here, right?
Yeah, he's not going to get her for cause. He tried to get her to, say that she wouldn't follow the law, and that's ultimately what you want them to say when you're going to get them bounced for cause. But I don't, that prosecutor by asking that question, about whether or not, it was just an obvious question that he was going to get an objection to. What I couldn't tell was whether or not the judge jumped in and shut him down, or was it the defense attorney? It was something to the effect of, he kind of, he had it coming. I think that was basically the defense and the argument, but he wasn't prepared for the obvious, that he was going to get shut down. He didn't have a good comeback. He paused. He looked down. Man, that was a blunder. But as far as this number 23, I think of a lot better defense witnesses. You certainly want I don't know if you want to say a Trump supporter or somebody that is going to be all about law and order and until they're not. But she's definitely conservative. She said at one point that she, couldn't, whether or not she was the right juror for this. Maybe there's somebody better. She didn't really care. I don't believe that for a second. She wants to, she want to be on this jury. She wants to be the foreperson. That's she's got tons of opinions. She likes talking, and full well that she shares these opinions vociferously with her friends and on social media. Right. She'd be a great witness for the defense. Or sorry, not a witness.
Juror, absolutely. All right, we're going to step aside, take a break. We'll talk more about not only this juror, but the other ones that have been selected when we return.
Somebody who was sworn to protect us, he killed my brother. He tortured him to death. He had a smirk on his face, and he had his knee on his neck, and I had no idea that a human being could do something that was that hurtful. I'm talking about the graphic content that everybody had to view all across America. We have to get justice in this case. It's a must.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. That was Philonise Floyd, George Floyd's brother. He mentioned the video of his brother's arrest that's been seen by, as he said, people across the world. Everybody's seen it. Except we found out yesterday that one of the prospective jurors, juror number 2, says he didn't.
In your questionnaire, you acknowledge that you've seen a Facebook video or certain videos of this incident, right?
I have not seen the video.
Oh, you have not. I'm sorry. I hadn't flipped my page. So you've not seen any of the social media videos or news stories with clips of the video or anything?
No.
Okay.
I've seen there's a still image that was pretty common, but that's the most I've seen.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
That was juror number 2 saying he'd never seen this video. He is one of 4 jurors that are now on this panel. One today, juror 20, was just put up today. Let's take a look at who we have so far. They're looking for 14 jurors, 12 jurors plus 2 alternates. You have juror 2 there. He's the chemist who says that he has not seen the video. He is a white male in his 30s, says that George Floyd's death was a horrible thing and that he believes in Black Lives Matter, and he actually went to the scene, 38th in Chicago, but again, did not see the video. Juror number 19 is a white male. He has also been selected for this jury. He will serve along with juror number 2. Juror number 9 also is on. Here's 19. He's a Caucasian male in his 30s. No safety concerns, but had a somewhat negative view of Chauvin after watching the video. He supports Black Lives Matter generally. And he has a friend in law enforcement and previously served on a jury, which people always want to know because he may feel comfortable enough to possibly be a foreperson. Juror number 9 is also in. She is a female of mixed race. She said she was super excited when she was summoned for this role, thinks it's very important. She's a little concerned. She has type 1 diabetes, has a relative who is a police officer. It's an uncle that she says she talks to every now and then when she's, quote, in trouble, but not very often. And then finally, juror 20, selected this morning. He is a white male, also part of this jury. He is getting married on May 1st, so he's got some scheduling concerns. He's hoping that his wedding will go on, but it's butting up against the back end of potential deliberations. So let's talk about the pool so far as we have it with our guest, Kelly Hyman, and Dan Gillian's still with us. Kelly, overall, seems like, as this, it always happens this way, right? You think, oh boy, you're going to get someone in this extreme or this extreme, but these 4 seem to be good potential jurors. You never know what they might have been hiding, but what's your thought? Anybody stand out?
No, I think you bring a really good point. I would like to see some African-American men on the juror as well, and some women as well. I think it's important for the jurors to reflect on the community because you are having the juror people of your peers. But overall, it seems pretty fair.
Dan, there was some speculation that 2 might have been a stealth juror, claiming he hadn't seen the video, thinking maybe that's what he was supposed to say. What's your take? And how important is it to avoid stealth jurors?
Oh, it's very important to avoid a stealth juror, except that sometimes it helps the defense. I remember my first defense trial, I was coming in to defend a case that had ended in a mistrial the first time, and the one juror that had held out to acquit, kept hidden the fact that he thought that only God can judge, and therefore he was voting to acquit. So that was a good one for the defense. As far as the chemist that says that he had never seen the video, but he went to the scene, man, I would the defense attorney, I would be, gambling that he's not telling the truth. But and that's a problem. Now, he might be telling the truth. I mean, I don't know if he's a chemical engineer versus just a chemist, because I can tell you that the engineers that I've had on juries, I've never been able to figure them out at all. So it's possible. But, man, I think that overall it's a big, who knows. And frankly, there's a lot of experts out there on jury selection. The problem is that, we can have opinions on who's good and not. But I tell you what, I have been dead certain in the past that I've got just the worst juror on the jury, and turns out to be the best.
Yeah, you just never know until it all comes out, and you may never know because sometimes jurors talk after a trial, sometimes they don't. We're going to step aside, take a break as we approach the top of the hour. They're in a recess at the Hennepin County Courthouse in downtown Minnesota, and downtown Minneapolis. As you can see, a heavily fortified courthouse, very restricted who goes in and out of that building. We have our cameras inside that building, and we'll get you back into that courtroom when we return.